Will Jennifer Pan get the chance to walk out of court a free woman? Let's talk about it in today's video. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's back there. Roscoe's holding it down. And my name's Paul, if you're new to the channel, or if you just don't know my name, well, it's Paul. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing well. Y'all, today we're going to be talking, it's another quick video, but it's another one that I wanted to speak to, because number one, I've just found this case very fascinating. I did a big, long video on it, I don't know, a couple of years ago at this point. I'll link it down below. If you want to watch the whole thing, this is just going to be an update about it, and that update is about Jennifer Pan. Now, what we'll do before we get into the actual update is do a quick overview of what this case was about. It's very deep, it's very complicated, so this isn't the video for all that. You can watch my big video on it if you want to hear me talk about it in depth, but we'll just get everybody on the same page if you haven't followed it or if you have forgotten. Now, before we do jump into it, if you want to follow me on the old Instas, on the old Grams, on the Instagrams, go on, click the thing, it's on the screen, go on, click it, it's in the little, description box, whatever you call that thing that hangs out down below. Anyways, I'm there, Roscoe's there, what we eat's there, and true crime stuff, and fun stuff, and personal life stuff, and all that jazz. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into that little quick overview. So this crime took place in Markham, Ontario. Jennifer Pan was 28 years old at the time, and the victims in this case were none other than her parents. So Jennifer worked with 3 others to orchestrate an attack on her family that was supposed to look like some kind of a robbery. Now, during this attack, her mother sadly would lose her life. Her father would suffer a critical head injury, but he would live, and he would end up taking the stand and seeing his daughter go through this whole process. Very heartbreaking for him to have to lose his wife, as well as going through this process of realizing, oh my gosh, I think my daughter did this to us. So Jennifer had a very secret life, but she was also raised in a very strict home. Now, her parents raised her in what is known as what's called tiger parenting. And okay, let's go on to Google. Let's figure out exactly what the Google machine says about it. Okay, let's see here. What is tiger? Hold on now, not bomb. Tiger parenting. Okay, so first thing we have down here, what is the meaning of tiger parenting? Okay, tiger parenting, now this is Wikipedia, so do with that what you will. We're just going to read the quick thing. Tiger parenting is a form of strict parenting whereby parents are highly invested in ensuring their children's success. Specifically, tiger parents push their children to attain high levels of academic achievement or success in high-status extracurricular activities such as music or sports. Okay, so that basically sums up what Jennifer claims that her life was like under the roof of her parents. Now, the Crown would allege that this crime came about after her parents discovered that literally their daughter that they knew as Jennifer, her life was a complete lie. She never graduated high school, wasn't in college, never did that, wasn't working at the little job she was. I mean, it was like everything that Jennifer presented to her parents was not true, and they found this out. Now, Jennifer was also dating a boy that definitely did not pass the vibe check or would not with her parents. He managed a little pizza place, and he sold extracurricular narcotics, let's say. Okay, so definitely not a cool thing, especially for parents like Jennifer had. Now, the Crown would also allege that when all this came to light, it was basically like, well, girl, you gotta pick. It's us or him. And we kind of see what her plan was for that. So she was sentenced in 2015. She got life in prison, no parole for 25 years for the first-degree M charge, and then life for the attempted M charge in this attack. She also had these other people who were involved in it. So her 3 co-accused, it was her boyfriend Daniel, a guy named Limford, a guy named David, were all convicted on the same charges. Now, eventually, as we often see in these cases, Jennifer would appeal this and, appeals and all this type of stuff, and she would end up and has ended up getting a new trial for first degree M. Now, apparently this was on the grounds of the trial judge not offering a variation of circumstance and charges to consider. They're saying there should have been 2 offered scenarios. One of them is in which the plan was to take out both parents, and another in which the plan was to commit a home invasion and the parents were shot in the course of the robbery. Now, the appeal court is saying, whoa, hold up. Y'all should have offered a couple of other things. Y'all should have offered second degree and manslaughter options. Now, I want to quickly go look at an article and talk about that real quick. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. So this is by Toronto News. It says Ontario court orders new murder trial for Jennifer Pan, convicted in the plot to kill her parents. And then here it says, the jury might have had a doubt about the planned and deliberate murder of Pan's mother, but be satisfied that the appellants knew that the murder of Pan's mother was a probable consequence of a plan to kill her father, the court said in the decision. This could give rise to a conviction for second-degree murder. Okay, so there is that. Now, again, you already know if you follow me, or if you don't, I ain't no lawyer, I ain't no doctor, I ain't no credential, fancy stuff like that, just a guy with a sofa. So, these opinions are just coming from that. Whether I agree with it or not, I can see their point. Or let me change that. Whether my emotions agree with that or not, you know what I mean? I can see what they're talking about here. Okay, there should be these other options put out on the table, right? Now, here's the thing. Do I think that it went down in this way? Yes. I think that she wanted to escape. This plan was put into action. I think it went down in that capacity, right? I do not agree with her actions whatsoever. Now, I'm going to quickly put up on the screen here a Correctional Service Canada website picture. We're just going to kind of look very quickly at where she has been allegedly since 2016. And it says the Institutional Profiles, Ontario Region, Grand Valley Institution for Women. It's in the city of Kitchener, Ontario, 107 kilometers from Toronto, Ontario. This is one of 6 federal facilities for women across Canada, opened in 97. Rated capacity 215. So there's that. And it says there's a minimum security residential style apartment unit. There are residential style small group accommodation houses for minimum and medium security inmates. Now, one thing that makes me think is and I don't know if this is this way in American prisons, but there's some of them where you see, and it's usually oftentimes that you see it in women's prisons, where they literally are these little apartment type things where they are incarcerated. Now, I don't know if this is, a thing in America too, or if this is just elsewhere, in this particular thing or not, but it does sound interesting where it's, this little apartment unit that they live in. I'm like, oh, okay. That doesn't sound too rough. So there's that. Now, one thing I want to talk about with this case, with this update, before we talk about my opinions on what I think is going to happen, and again, that's just literally, I'm coming from the sofa, right? Just my opinion on it. We have no clue what will happen. One thing that is very interesting about this case is the comment sections on the videos, on Reddit, on all these places. I see so many comments that say the same thing of people don't condone what she did. They do not agree that what she did was right, wrong, or indifferent, but they understand the pressure she was under and how it can send you to a breaking point. With this, parents who are extremely you have to succeed, you have to do this, pressure type thing, and how that could lead to just snapping like this, basically. And so I've always found that interesting, where there's a lot of sympathy for her in that respect of look, handled it the wrong way, but girl, we get you, kind of a thing, right? Now, I was not raised in, that level of strictness, so I cannot sit here and say I know what that's like, or I can appreciate it. I don't know what that's like. I can imagine that it's not fun. I can imagine that you probably would feel like you miss out on childhood things and whatnot, right? I get that. But clearly resulting in trying to plan the, taking of your parents' life is absolutely a no-go. So that being said, like I said, the things that they're raising up of hey, look, we should have offered these couple of options, I mean, I can see where it's yeah, I can see y'all probably needing to offer those. Again, I don't know how courts work up there. I'm broadcasting from North Carolina, which is why I say up there, but I'm just oh my gosh, all the money that this stuff costs, right? If they could only get it right the first time around, but it is what it is. I could see them coming with a lesser charge, right? However, the evidence in the case, it's hard to work around that. it's very hard. The orchestrating, the way that Jennifer lied during the interrogations of her, the whole 9 yards. Because remember, this happens, and she's like staying with family, and she's being investigated for this, right? So, I mean, come on. Can you imagine how awkward? Now, I don't know if at this point, but I mean, from my understanding, and y'all tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong, the father had, cut off contact with her, at least during this time. Now, I don't know if that's changed at this point or whatnot, but I mean, your daughter tried to have you taken out, right? Allegedly. I guess we're going to go back to that at this point. So I'm curious, does her brother talk to her? I'm curious, like, how do the pieces of the cookie crumble in the family unit when you have attempted to do something like this? Cases like this fascinate me in that way, just from seeing, like, psychologically, how does everybody move on or not move on, or that type thing. My heart goes out to the father. I can't imagine that realization when he was able to come to and be like, oh my gosh, I survived. And this is what happened, but I feel like my daughter was part of it. The whole thing that went down with it looking like this robbery, and her friends coming in, and, her acting like the whole thing that went down was very sus. And the father realized this, and then to know that his wife is no longer here, her brother. I mean, look at that. He lost a sister, he lost a mother, almost lost a father. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. If they're able to talk their way around it, yeah, I could see them getting a lesser charge on this. But again, it just seemed like there was so much evidence of pre-planning. I'm not sure how you could do that. You would have to really, really go with the notion of, we were just trying to plan a robbery to do this, and then this incident happened over here, right? But we'll see. Anyways, that's it. Let me know what you're thinking. Also, I'm very curious to know, on the tiger parenting thing, what does the Sofa Squad feel on that? Is everybody like, and I'm not trying to say, do you think it's okay that she killed her parents? No, nobody seemed to agree on that, right? Nobody was cool with the fact that she tried to, she did have her mother killed, but taking her father out, all that type of stuff. Nobody was cool with that. But they got where she was coming from. So, did you grow up in this environment? What was it like? I mean, is it this incredibly stressful that could push someone to doing a heinous act like this? Let us know if you're comfortable sharing. If not, well, then don't. It's a free world, good Lord. Anyways, Roscoe says, yeah, I want to know, and I want sofas. He's curious too. He is scared of tigers in general because they're bigger than him and they can harm him, but he wants to know about tiger parenting. He's okay with that. Anyways, until we do gather around those little sofas in the comment section for Mr. Roscoe and the rest of the squad, we'll see y'all soon.